My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah.
All we are is energy. And you know, the number one thing that people have to do in their day is find more energy.
This session over here is more or less what we did for the past 3 years, is getting together. We focus. You have to stay on point. Shooting the shit. What it is you want to go for. Make a small little plan and just go for it. At least 140 scenes on my phone. That's from the last 6 years worth of funny shit that happens in life.
You've got that much material, and sometimes when you write a scene down, that's a whole sitcom.
That's a whole section of a sitcom, for crying out loud. You guys got no idea what we got here.
There's something greater than us. Imagine this, 5 trillion cells, 100 trillion bacteria living in and on us. Are we a human, or are we just a colony of bacteria? We have 80 years almost of working in the healthcare field. We've got 8 marriages between the two of us. We've got 100, almost what? I'm almost 70, I'm 69, he's 65. We have almost 120 years of life experiences. We're both college graduates, highly educated.
134 if you add them two together.
Well, I can't add.
You can't do it!
There's a ton of material there, and most of it that we pulled out is just the, it's the cream of the crop stories that really are gut-wrenching. You've had your losses, you've lost millions.
10,000 on Black 15. You melting down. Listen to me. Listen to me. All that negative energy that you put in the air, take it out right now. This is a sign. 10,000, Black 15. Right now. Move.
10,000 on 15, table max.
Don't nobody talk to me right now.
I don't think we should let him do this.
Cedric, are you serious? See, don't talk to me no more. If somebody else says something else to me, I'm gonna get really upset. It's a sign.
Are you letting him do this?
Cedric.
Black 15. Black 15. Black 15. Black 15.
No more bets.
Black 15.
Winner, Black 15 winner.
Shut yeah!
I really want you to tell me about what happened when you ended up on the beach in Hawaii broke.
What are they talking about?
Let's get a little background. I got in 2 severe car accidents in almost 5 years to the month. Both high-speed rear-end collisions, turning left with my blinker on. Imagine that, 60 miles an hour, sitting there going like, oh, I'm like, BAM! And your life changes in a nanosecond.
So if you start with the velocity of light and use your friendly computer, you'll discover that a nanosecond is 11.8 inches long.
The first accident in Colorado, we lose our house, it's 2008.
What year was that?
2008, the economy
You already
tanks.
said it!
Yeah, the economy tanks. We get 5 feet of snow.
Can you say snow?
It's November. I can't work. I have herniated discs in my neck and my back. We get 5 feet of snow. The economy's tanking. I try to put the house up for sale. I'm upside down on the house. I can't get $220 for 7 acres with a guest house in a main residence, backed up against the forest in Colorado. And so what ends up happening is, my family calls me and says, look, you come back to Portland, Oregon, and we'll help you get back on your feet. We have a family home that you guys can rent from us. It's $1,000 a month. I think you guys can handle that. So we moved to Oregon, and 5 years almost to the month, I get in a second rear end collision, turning left with my blinker on at a dead stop. My wife looks at me of 27 years and says, I can't do another accident, Dave. I'm going like, what about me? I'm the one that's injured. I just took 5 years rehabbing myself and I get hit again. This all happened within 3 weeks, okay? I look at my wife, I say, you know what? What do you think? Should we get counseling? What should we do? I mean, I don't know what to do. For 15, 17 years, I made all the income in Colorado. We had a great life. We traveled, took long trips. We lived in the desert, kayak, snowboard. We did it all, and we had a great life. And then when I get in my second car accident and I can't work, and my wife is making 6Ks as a nurse, while she was in Colorado, she was making $15 an hour working for the health department as a BSRN.
Woo!
And I spent all my money trying to make her happy.
Look, a year's salary right here. What I call them? Fun coupons. See that?
Her daughter was 15 at the time. We moved to Colorado. We moved from Colorado to Oregon, Portland. And I get in a second car wreck. And this all happened within 2 weeks. We look at each other and we go, do you want to go counseling? I was fed up. I was like tired of dealing with her. She was a fearful, sort of very contrived person. I'm very spontaneous. I trust the universe. That was all crazy language for her because she's a nurse. She's a linear brain.
So who's gonna tell this man that we are all crazy, sleep-deprived, caffeine addicts with terrible attitudes? Because, sir, someone has been lying to you.
Anyways, love her to death, but we both look at each other and go, I don't want to do counseling. She says, I don't want to do counseling. So I get divorced. I just got in a car wreck. I'm going to have shoulder surgery. I quit my professorship that I'm teaching school at night.
I quit, so you don't have to pay me.
I just started and crawled my way back to get my Oregon license back because I had to redo the boards again because I was gone for 15 years. I just had to close my clinic that I just got open and started running again. I quit my professorship, had shoulder surgery, got divorced after 27 years, and I'm looking around and I go, I pay everybody off, all my debts, I pay off all my debts, I have no money left, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell am I going to do? I borrowed $2,000 from a chiropractic friend of mine, a dear friend. I ship my car to Maui, and I get to Maui. After all this happened in 2 weeks, I'm standing on the beach and I go, God, I'm done. I have no idea. I just offer up my life to you. You tell me what to do. You've got to take care of this. I'm done. I don't know what else to do.
Answer me!
And he said, give back to the island. So every night I did a Qigong class. It's called the Triple Gem class. And I taught a class at sunset. We called it the Sunset Qigong or Sunset Triple Gem class. And we taught yoga, Qigong, and meditation. Every night on the beach I went there at sunset, right? An hour before. We taught this class. And I just sat there, and from that moment on I said, I'm working for free.
Now leave me alone.
That's basically what happened. And in 40 years, I've never turned anybody away because they couldn't pay me. In the clinic, if you couldn't pay and you wanted treatment and you weren't trying to work me and just, get something for nothing, I treated you. And I've been that way ever since. And that was like...
I don't know what else to say either, but I thought that story was a lot more intense the last time you told it.
Well, you heard it before, so...
I don't know what to tell you on that.
I don't know.
Not animated enough for me. You were animated.
Okay.
You were sensational.
Would you want me to do it again?
Fucking ecstatic. I got the feelings in my head and my soul, man. It was like, wow. I can't even describe it in words.
Hey, I want you to...
Dumbfounded.
Can you tell me the story about why you became a chiropractor?
Here's a chiropractic story. Ready? Here we go. 15 years old. My mom's working for two prominent orthopedic surgeons in New York. I had a serious baseball injury. Threw my back out really, really, really bad. Went to see the experts. My friend at the time was telling me, why don't you go to my chiropractor? The guy's a magician. Fucking help me. I said, chiropractor? Are you out of your mind? bunch of quackery.
I feel coming off your head?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. You know what I've learned that is really? It's called contempt prior to investigation. And for 5 years, I refused to go to the chiropractor because I was a mainstream dude. I'm going to my mom's orthopedics. I mean, my mom treated Mickey Mantle when he had his injury in center field. She was working for the doctor in the Bronx.
Wow.
That took care of my favorite all-time player, my favorite numbers number 7.
And you wanted
Anyway, so I trusted my mom and the doctors, right? So I go to them, they do the x-rays, this, that, and the other. They say, well, you need back surgery. I said, you're out of your fucking mind, doc. This was the doctors my mom worked for. I said, you're out of your fucking mind. If you think that's your answer, back surgery, you're fucking nuts. So, needless to say, they threw me out of the office that day. Hey! I didn't really give a shit because I wasn't getting my back cut on by some flaky doctor because he has some fucking degree on the wall. Sorry, I trust the body, even before I knew all about chiropractic or anything. So anyway, 5 years go by. I can't play tennis. I can't bowl. I could run. I was lucky that I was still able to run, even though those doctors told me, if you don't get this back surgery, you're not going to be able to run. You're going to have to give up running. I said, you're out of here. Don't worry about it, doc. I'll be fine. Long story short, and it is a very long fucking story.
Long story short, I went to the bathroom.
I'm suffering really bad, man. My back is fucking killing me. I'm sitting in class. I go, you know what? I'm going to try that fucking chiropractor.
Well, where were you?
At that point, I was at Cornell University. Ivy League. Chemistry major.
They gave you your own lab, right?
Yeah, they did. They actually
First year-
thought I knew something. It's pretty fucking funny now, thinking back. Anyway, go to this guy, Dr. Fred Weiner in downtown Ithaca. Gives me a thorough exam. Heart, blood pressure, kinesiology, if he was a big applied kinesiologist. I don't know, you could look it up online if you don't know what it is. The hell would you? Fuck you anyway. Look it up online, applied kinesiology, right? Does all this muscle testing shit. Hold, you know, doing this touch over here, hold, turns me on my side, gives my lower back, sacroiliac joint, it's called the SI joint, the sacroiliac joint, gives me an adjustment. Here is huge pop, right? I get off the table, I started crying like a baby. I was 80% better
In a
within
nanosecond.
1 fucking minute, right? I get up off the table, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I started crying, I go, oh my God. I gotta find out all there is about this shit. I'm like, this was mind-boggling to me. First of all, that he did a thorough examination. That already blew away
Nobody really had
my
done that.
whole opinion of chiropractic right then and there. I said that was the most thorough physical exam I'd ever gotten in my entire life. And I've been to doctors, right? I go, there's something to this shit, man.
So where'd you
I don't
go?
know what it is, but I'm gonna fucking find out. And from that moment, I knew what I was gonna do for the rest of my life. I was gonna be a chiropractor. I knew it. Right then and there, as soon as I got off that table, I said, it changed my life. I was at Cornell, biochem major, Mr. Genius, fucking, I'm going to be an orthopedic surgeon. That's what I was going for. I was going to go to medical school, become an orthopedic surgeon, help thousands of people, make millions of dollars, whatever. And I couldn't fucking believe what had happened that day. I go.
You went to your advisor, right?
I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is unbelievable. I did a bunch of research on chiropractic. I talked to the doctor there in his office for about 20 minutes. He had a bunch of patients waiting, so I couldn't spend that much time. Anyway, I found out all I could about it. I said, I'm going to be a chiropractor. That's what I'm going to do. So I ended up applying to 2 schools, one in New York, one in Portland, Oregon. I got into both, and I decided I'm going to go to Western States Chiropractic College. Summer in 1980. Going.
So what happened when you went to your advisor and you told him that you're the guy that your
That's a whole
mentor?
other story, but my academic advisor was some fucking genius who ended up going over to Emory in Atlanta and becoming the head of their biochemistry department. He was a real smart guy, a real heavy-duty guy. I gave him a bunch of brochures from some of the colleges I was thinking of going to, and he was reading them upside down. And I go, dude,
What are you being a smart
what's
ass?
up with you? He goes, listen, man. He goes, why on earth would you want to be a second-class citizen when you could be a first-class one? He goes, you know what? I can't work with you anymore. I said, you're so fucked up in the head. He didn't use those words. Those are my words. You're so messed up in the I can't even talk to you anymore. He says, you got to go get yourself another advisor. I can't be your advisor anymore. I said, wow, aren't you open-minded? I said, you know what, Doc?
You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers.
I said, you know what? That's just the same. That's what I was. So it's kind of good that you did that. You're Mr. Mainstream Cornell, Mr. Universe Cornell, whatever you are.
Mr.
And
Money Research Guy.
You can't see anything outside of this. And that's how I was until that day. I was the same way.
Well, I had a similar story. And what's unusual about chiropractors is they usually get there because of their own personal story. What happened to me is I had migraines that was so bad I beat my head on the floor. From like age 5, my head,
Maybe that's why you had the headaches.
No, that's what I have. I think funny, but no. What happens is I would get these migraines that were so bad it was like if you've ever eaten ice cream too fast, you get that pain shooting directly up into your eye socket.
Yes, sir.
Put that on steroids.
I hate that.
I had my headaches so bad since I was a kid, and I hated to throw up because I'd always get sick to my stomach when I got a really bad headache. I couldn't stand light. I couldn't stand movement. I couldn't stand noise. I had to isolate and just get away from everybody. And eventually, if I could, I would vomit, and I'd feel better. And there's another side story to that, but let me finish this. So my parents take me all over. They take me up to the Marshfield Clinic in Wisconsin, Mayo Clinic. They talk to them. They talk to all these freaking people. My parents were totally mainstream medicine as well. My dad was a chemical engineer from the University of Wisconsin, and he developed food products, Swiss Miss hot chocolate for the family business and all that. Anyways, long story short, I'm working at the park in Portland, Oregon as a park director, and this guy says to me, he said, why don't you go see this guy? You got migraine headaches. I heard you tell your story over a couple times. Why don't you go see this guy? I go to this chiropractor, and he has this technique. It's a balloon. He puts a balloon up in your nose. I go in to see him. He does this exam. He says, look, your nose is all crooked. Your one eye's round, one eye's oblong. Your skull's up misformed. Were you a C-section baby, or were you, whatever? Anyways, he examines me and he says, what you need is a nasal specific. And I swear to God, he lays me down on this table, he calms me down, he gets me breathing, he takes a really small finger cut on the end of a sphygmomanometer bulb, the thing that you pump up when you used to take blood pressures, and he puts it on there, and he talks me down, and he slowly feeds it up into my cranium, into my sinus, and he pops it, and my head goes. That was good. And I go, come on, baby. Oh my God! It was like I could smell and I could think better, and it was from that moment on, I knew I'm going to chiropractic school. And the person that sent me there was a 5th degree Aikido black belt guy who I met in the park. I was teaching his kids tennis and we were playing tetherball, and he would come and study for chiropractic school. He was in chiropractic school at the time. And we got to talk and he said, you know what? How would you like to learn some martial arts, some Aikido, and some energy medicine and stuff like that? I said, oh my God, you're like you're my freaking sensei, man. I've been looking for someone for millennia. I always was into, martial arts and
He's your mentor.
natural healing. He said to me, he said, look it, you move in with me and you and your wife move into our house and you can study, you can be under my tutelage. And he was going to be the head of all the North America and South America Aikido Association under Russ Sinclair at the time. Dr. Morrow ends up graduating from chiropractic school, but he said to me, he said, before you ever learn to harm, you must learn to heal. He says, I want you to go to chiropractic school. And it were those two things that got me into chiropractic school.
Do no harm.
Do no harm, man. First, do no harm.
Hippocratic oath. Do no harm. You think those doctors that are giving those prescriptions away every single day are doing no harm?
What is it? The third leading cause of death? Properly prescribed
Properly
medicine?
prescribed medication causes every 1 out of every 2 hospital admissions. The symptoms are so bad.
So tell me this. How did you get from Cornell to the dumpster?
Well, Cornell University, I have a funny story. Because when I was there,
you had the lab.
I had my own chem lab, and so I had, we were at this party, where a bunch of us partying away, and tripping out on acid, smoking weed, just partying down.
Doing LSD? LSD.
LSD.
Wow. Okay.
Partying down. My friend goes, hey, man, I got a fucking wart on my dick. This guy had really long hair. His name was Cliff. He had really long hair. He was a real hippie, beard and everything.
Smart kid, though.
And it's a real good friend of mine. Anyway, he says, you think there's anything you could do? Anything you could do for a wart on my dick? I says, yeah, let's fucking go, man. We'll go over to the chem lab. Go over to the chem lab, man. We'll put some liquid nitrogen on it. Fucking burn that shit right off, man. Fucking freeze it right up. It'll fucking come off. You would never know you even had it. So, I never did that on anybody before. Not a doubt. Just a fucking crazy ass motherfucking student. Chemistry was my thing. I figured, yeah, that makes sense to me. Ward, burn it off. I ain't gonna burn it off, I ain't one of them people.
So you took everybody
So we went
there?
over to, it was about 4 or 5 of us, I don't remember how many, it was at least 4 or 5 of us. We go across the quad, there's not a soul in sight. We go all the way over to the quad, we go into the lab, I go all the way upstairs, we're in the chem lab, I open the fucking door, it's locked, right? We go in, here's the fucking big thing of liquid nitrogen. We take the hose, turn it on, take the hose, put it right on his little wart on his dick, right? Real careful, by the way, on LSD. I don't know, maybe I was more tuned in than usual, I don't know. But I wasn't nervous. He was nervous.
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous. It wasn't me. So, put it on there, a little bit, boop, 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 boop. Let's go, we gotta get out of here. I don't want to get caught here tonight. I don't even get in any fucking trouble here. So let's just fucking lock it up, let's go. Don't touch anything, motherfuckers.
Okay, clearly we need to set some rules. Rule number 1. You will not touch anything.
Don't touch anything in here. So there's no cameras back in those days either, so everything was kind of hush hush. So we get out, we go back to the party, everybody's up, blah, 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 blah. I stayed up that night. I ended up going with this girl to this gorgeous gorge, Harry S. Truman State Park at sunrise. Fucking unbelievably beautiful spot. We had a great night. Next day, Cliff comes over. He goes, I don't know, man. He goes, I can't fucking believe it. He goes, my fucking war, it's gone. He goes, like it was never there.
Clearly we need to set some rules. Rule number 1. You will not touch anything.
So I was like, that was the first success I ever had in my life, treating somebody. I didn't even know I was out.
Wow.
I was just fucking crazy ass motherfucker.
Hey, speak of treating something, what was your first good experience?
And by the way, all the shit we talk about is all true!
Steve, Tell me about
I'm not
your,
exaggerating any fucking thing.
Tell me about your first good experience as a chiropractor. Remember that, the girl?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
My first real thing was when I was in the senior clinic, and I had this gorgeous waitress patient. She comes in, she goes, Dr. Golden, can you help me? I'm like, well, what's going on? She says, I wait tables, I fucking always holding trays like this and like this, and I have this excruciating pain down my arms.
Both arms.
My hands are going numb. I've been dropping stuff. I'm in a lot of pain. I've been getting headaches and my neck is aching, but the worst part is this pain down my arms, this sharp shooting pains down my arms, all the way to my hands. So we take an x-ray, right? You see, she has what's called a reverse cervical curve. Her curve's supposed to go, like when you're like this, your curve's supposed to go like this. It's supposed to curve this way. You have one curve here, then the thoracic curve goes the other way. You have one curve, then the thoracic goes the opposite way, and then the lumbar goes the same way as the cervical, and then the pelvis goes the same way. So you have 4 curves. That's to prevent your discs from degenerating off your body. So the body is so brilliant that once we started walking upright, these curves came into existence, right? When we were on all fours, if that's where we came from, I don't know.
I know where babies come from. You know the uvula in the back of her throat? So, and it falls off, then it goes into your belly, then it grows big, 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 big. Then you cut it open, and then you're like, what do you know, a baby?
I don't. Okay, there's all kinds of
So what happened
theories
with
on
her?
it. Anyway, so she's having this sharp radiating pain down the arm, and we were just studying this Pierce Stillwagon technique, and this Dr. Pierce was, he swore about what's called C5 adjustments, right? And that C5 is in the middle of the cervical curve. So I lay her face down on the drop table, and I go, hear a huge crack, right? She gets up, she goes, oh my God, she goes, oh my God, she started crying, she goes, oh my God, I think you really helped me. She says, I don't feel any pain at all in my arms. There's no more pain or numbness in my arms and hands. It was that dramatic, that quickly, that simple.
Wow.
Just like when I got off the table at the other chiropractor's office. And this was when I was in senior clinic. I didn't even really know what I was doing, but I knew what I was doing a little bit. I knew
Right,
what
enough
to do.
to help her.
I knew how to diagnose it. I knew what the x-ray showed. I trusted Dr. Pierce, who'd been in practice 30 years at that point, and he knew what he was talking about. So I did that adjustment. It really helped. And it was like, I always knew chiropractic was going to work because of what happened to me, but that was my first dramatic experience with actually helping somebody with a real life problem. Now, she could have gone through life taking this drug and that drug for that symptom, for this symptom, for that, and it never would have done anything.
Wouldn't have fixed
It just
the problem.
wouldn't have fixed the cause. The cause was in the spine. The cause was in the spine where the discs were being impinged upon and the nerve roots were being pinched, and that's what was causing all the pain and numbness. And she got 100% better in one adjustment.